Our very special guest today is somebody that you might know, or Lisa definitely does as time man. His name is Ross Willard. He's the founder of Recycle Bicycle Harrisburg. And Ross, I suspect we could talk about your radio background, your railroad background, your skating background. But today we're going to talk about bicycles. Good morning to you.
Hi, good morning. It's great to be here. Also, shout out to Roy Landis. He remembers me.
Yeah, you and Roy are past skaters.
That's right.
Together at WJTL Skate Nights. Pretty awesome. Anybody you want to say hi to other than Roy this morning?
That's fine. I have lots of friends. Too many friends.
Too many friends to say hi to. So tell us all about Recycle Bicycle Harrisburg.
Well, Recycle Bicycle is one of those things that just sort of happened. I came to know Jesus through YFC. Then life went on, and what happened is I married a lady who was similar to my mother who volunteered, and my wife said one day, let's go out and feed people in Harrisburg. So we do, and put all the food in this old rusty van, and I'd have to play security and hand out the bags to volunteers. And as I'm doing that, I'm watching kids go down a hill with no brakes. And it was one of those God moments. It's like, gee, if I don't do anything, they could die. Now, if I give them bags of groceries, they'll live for 3 weeks. They can get water anywhere. But if they don't have brakes, and I'm mechanical, I'm equipped. So in the back of the old rusty van was my bicycle. And on the back of the bicycle was this little tool bag with tools. So I started fixing bikes alongside the food van. The tool bag became a toolbox. It became the van. It became a trailer. It became my yard. Asked my township about that. And then it became a warehouse. And my standards of I'm frugal. If you look in those old books that say like dictionaries or encyclopedias, there's a picture of me for the word frugal. Nowadays on Wikipedia, look it up, there's a picture of me nowadays old. But I would borrow buildings. The roofs leaked, they had no electricity, no bathrooms, just in the heart of the city, and we fix bikes.
Wow, that's awesome. So I'm afraid to ask, how many bicycles have you fixed?
I don't know, but we give away thousands a year.
Okay.
Thousands.
That's amazing. So are you looking for donations of bicycles? What are you looking for help with?
So we're a common sense nonprofit bike shop. So I have friends around the world, and if somebody calls up and says, hey, I've got a bicycle for you, where do you live? 10 miles east of Williamsport. Well, then take it to Williamsport.
Yeah.
There's somebody like us there.
Right.
So we try not to drive all over the countryside. When I worked for the railroad, it would be somebody call and say, hey, I got a bike for you. And they're 40 miles out of town. And I go through my railroad database and tell a guy out in the shop, hey, you got a pickup truck? Yeah. Pick up this bicycle on your way home.
Nice.
And bring it to work.
Right.
So we take any bike. People say, well, the bikes are broken. Well, we want them for the parts.
Right.
We want to recycle them properly.
Yeah.
And we take anything bike related. The trailer that you buy for your kid to ride in, the kid grows up, you shove in the back of the garage, you pull your car in, you mash it a little bit. Well, we still want it because a homeless guy can use it to carry his tools and go to work.
Right. Wow. So if folks want to donate to you, how can they do that?
Well, the easiest way is electronic business card, technology. I don't need to carry cards anymore.
Right.
Google Map.
Yeah.
Just go to your Google Map on your phone and say, Recycle Bicycle.
There you go.
It'll pop up. There we are in the heart of the city. And then as you scroll in Google Map, it'll show a picture of the shop. Big mural of a kid on a bike. As you scroll more, it'll tell you the webpage, the phone number, and the hours.
Awesome.
So it's just, remember, it rhymes.
Yeah.
Recycle Bicycle. Recycle Bicycle.
Yeah, there you go. You can go to Recycle Bicycle. It's rbhberg.org is the place you could go as well. Very cool. Fun talking to you, Ross. We're going to talk more with Ross on the way in just a bit, if he's not wearing skates. This morning, our very special guest, Ross Willard, is with us. He's the founder of Recycle Bicycle Harrisburg. Good morning again, Ross.
Good morning, Fred.
So wonderful to have you here and catch up with you. For those who maybe missed you a few minutes ago, tell us what you're doing with Recycle Bicycle.
Recycle Bicycle is a common sense nonprofit bike shop. We started out in my backyard, but now we have 9,000 square foot warehouse. And we have lots of friends in other cities doing the same thing because we help them get started.
Which is amazing.
Other cities can come to our shop with a shopping cart and just fill with parts, take it back to their city and fix bikes.
So what are some of the other areas that are doing Recycle Bicycle?
Williamsport, Lebanon, Lancaster has Common Wheel, 2 different varieties. I think they just spawned off into Columbia. York pedals for Peace. they were just riding the streets, a bunch of kids staying out of trouble that way, and we got them into a shop so the kids fixed their bikes. There's some place in Missouri. I haven't been there, but I got a postcard. And someplace south of Reading, and I've been there, Bike and Soul. And so we all have our own varieties. We fix kids' bikes, or we have bikes for guys to go to work. It's helping people get places.
And this all started because you were part of handing out food bags, and then you started fixing kids' bikes. And now I understand that one of the things that you love to do is go to a block party. Tell us about that.
Well, block parties are fun. And I use it as a teaching tool. In other words, if you're listening, this is not copyrighted. Do it. But I would go to a block party sometimes unannounced, like Convoy Hope in Philadelphia. Massive block party. My wife was part of the prayer team. I showed up, and they looked at me like, who are you? What are you doing here? And I said, I got a Honda Element filled with bicycle parts. And I set up outside the block party. And the people started showing up. I used every part I had. And some of the neighborhood people then started dragging out broken bikes saying, here, use these parts to fix that next kid's bike. And the list goes on. It's just a blessing to watch kids be able to ride away. In other words, they push it in, but they ride home. Always fix the brakes first.
That's the rule. But your wife is right next door with the prayer tent, and she's able to share the gospel with these kids.
Right, because I'm the bait and switch. Physically, they're trapped. They want their bike fixed. Then she says, hey, come over into the shade of her prayer tent, and she pulls out a card that has scripture on it, and she would flip it over to the blank side and say, what's your name? Let's say it would be Ruth. She'd write down Ruth, look up in a baby name book with definitions, and says, friend of God. She gives it to him. That kid will cherish his card forever. And now she can pray with them. And if, it's like, so we've connected physically, emotionally, and then spiritually.
I love it. I love what you're doing. And folks, you're encouraging folks to do this in their town as well. Fix bicycles, share the gospel. It's something they could do. But how can our listeners help Recycle Bicycle in Harrisburg do what you're doing?
So we're like everybody else. We always can use money. We always can use more bikes. And people sometimes say you have too many, but we don't want any bikes to go to the landfill pig, as I call it, and anything bike related. And we even collected wheelchairs one time because we ship bikes off to Africa, the ones that we can't use. And so we collected wheelchairs. So the wheelchairs went one time, and walkers. We could have cut them up for the aluminum scrap, but we didn't. And so there's not a brass tag in some hospital somewhere in Ghana. It's just a piece of paper up on the wall saying, these wheelchairs came from Recycle Bicycle.
That's awesome.
It's just go to Recycle Bicycle or on Google Map. You'll find us, and our hours are listed. Call if you can get it to us. That helps us. And there's no rush. People think, I got to get it there today. No, it's whenever you're coming to Harrisburg or to one of our affiliates. We don't care where it goes. And if you're in downtown Lancaster or Lebanon or wherever, take it there.
So go to Google Maps, type in Recycle Bicycle Harrisburg. You're going to find Ross. You're going to find where you could take your bicycle. Or you could go to rbhburg.org, and you can find out more information there as well. Do you guys have social media? Do you have a Facebook page?
We have Facebook, a group, a page. I didn't understand the difference in the two at first. I'm old, and so we have that. And we have great pictures. In other words, like a couple of years ago, we're at Memorial Day Festival. We park bikes. We preach bicycling, and we fix them. And this lady comes and says, Ross, you gave me a bike a couple of years ago. Yeah. She goes, I loved it. I rode it. I did the Tour de Belt. And then I even took it to a real bike shop and had them tune it up. And then I bought a real bike. Do you want it back? She walked home, got the bike, gave it to me. I took a picture of her in front of our van with our logo. And the next night, we had an immigrant in the shop, a lady, and I gave her that bicycle, and I took a picture of her with the same bike.
That's awesome.
Being recycled again in front of our logo mural on the side of the building. So there's a bike out there just going from hand to hand to hand through these ladies, helping them to get places.
Ross, we love what you're doing. We want to encourage our listeners to visit you online, rbhburg.org, or like Ross said, you just go to Google Maps and type in Recycle Bicycle Harrisburg. If you have bicycles, if you have wheelchairs, this is probably helmets. Yep, if you have that, it'd be a great place to donate them. Ross, thanks for hanging out with us today. Great seeing you.
Thank you.